Q&A documents, so you will have those as well. All right. So orientation is next Monday. We're super excited about this. You know, we were a little teary-eyed when we're like, how do we do orientation, and how do we do, which is like open house if you're new to us. But how do we do that? And that's when you get to come in, get to see everybody, get to see your teachers, drop things off, fill out forms, all that good stuff. Well, we're trying to do that in a virtual format. So we hope that you will have as much fun with it as we have creating it, and that you will stop in and see everybody. So look tomorrow in the weekly reminders for some more information about that. And then first thing Monday morning, you'll get an email on how to navigate that. And it will also be on our website Monday. So in case you don't get the email or you've misplaced it, always go to the website and there'll be a way for you to enter through there. You should have already received your parent digital handbook. Between that and tonight, hopefully all your questions will be answered. But like I said, at the end, you'll have a chance to leave us some questions and we can get you answers. And device and material pickup is tomorrow and Thursday, 9 a.m. to 2, both days. We look forward to seeing you, but please, if you can leave your students at home, please do. But if they need to come, they will be asked to wait outside, and it will be one adult per family that can come in and get those materials. I do want to say one thing about supplies. We're going to talk a little bit about that later, but there will be a chance for you to pick up supplies if you are in need of supplies. So there will be some available. All right.
And please wear a mask.
Yes, please, yes. You please, but you also must wear a mask to come inside the building. So make a note of that. All right, Zakia.
Thank you, Christy. Again, I'm Zakia Funchess, and I'm the data coordinator here at Globe. And I'm just going to take a few minutes to go over the different type of assessments that we administer here at Globe, as well as what do we do with the data that's collected from those assessments. So I'll start with MAP. MAP stands for Measures of Academic Progress, and it's an online adaptive assessment that we administer 3 times a year, fall, winter, and spring. And yes, we will be administering the MAP this fall, so stay tuned. You'll get more information regarding that. Your middle school students take it in 3 areas: reading, math, and language usage, which is like grammar. We also administer Fontes and Pinnell. That's a benchmark assessment for reading. That is administered 3 times a year, and it allows us to identify the instructional and independent reading levels of our students. We administer STAMP. That stands for Standards-Based Measurement of Proficiency. That is also an online adaptive language proficiency test, and that assesses our students in the areas of reading, writing, listening, and speaking in their target language, so French, Mandarin, or Spanish. There's also the Georgia Milestones Assessment System, better known as Milestones. That's a statewide comprehensive test administered in grades 3 through high school. Milestones measures how well students have learned the skills outlined in that grade level's core content standards. GMAS is also given in English language arts, math, science, and social studies. It's given in the spring of the school year. We are not sure. We haven't heard back from the state DOE regarding any type of waivers for this school year. There are also other various formative and summative assessments that are given in each content area. Some examples of those are exit tickets, published writings, and pre and post tests. So how is the data used here at Globe? The data that teachers get from these assessment tools is used to drive their instructional decisions. For instance, in the area of planning, teachers could pull their pre or post test, unit test assessments and their data, and they'll ask themselves, what instructional teaching strategies will work best given my students' performances? They may also ask, is there any type of prerequisite skills that I need to reteach before I can introduce the upcoming unit? In the area of grouping of students, teachers could rely on this data that has been collected. They might pull their STAMP or F&P data, and they could say to themselves, which students can I put together as language partners? Or who can I group together for book clubs? We also use data from the MAP, for instance, to determine what students may need any additional support layered on top of the core instruction. And that can be both in extending the curriculum as well as remediating. If you have any questions about the different assessments that we provide here at Globe or the data that's collected from it, feel free to reach out to me. I'll be available at orientation Monday. I'll have my own Google Meet link and you can click on that and we can discuss a little further. Thank you.
Hi, everybody. I'm Lisa Dibble again. I'm the curriculum coordinator. I wanted to preface that I mostly work with the English language arts teachers, so most of what I'll be talking about has to deal with those teachers. I do want to say that every year I jokingly, sort of seriously, say that I'm going to check my own child out from his own middle school and drive him over to Globe so he can attend the ELA classes, and then I'm going to drive him back. So I think really highly of the ELA teachers that we have. That's not to say our other teachers aren't amazing too. I just don't spend as much time with them. So we are going to be using the same best teaching practices that you will have also seen at home. I mean, not at home, at school in the past. The teachers are going to rotate between a reading unit and a writing unit. They're going to be providing strategy-based mini lessons. They will also be providing small groups where they're going to be checking for understanding and helping students with the different concepts. They will be reading different books by reading choice and genre, as well as participating in book clubs throughout the year. And then when they're writing, most of their writing is very relevant for real, like live things that are going on right now. And then the teachers meet with them sometimes on a breakout room or through the Google Docs, like the chat part where they kind of like give them feedback on the writing, and then the student is able to write back. So we're going to be utilizing those same things here as in distance learning, and I can tell you that your kids are in for a really great experience.
Hi, good afternoon. I'm Miss Daniel. I'm our language coordinator. So I'm working with our amazing middle school language team. What we're here to show you tonight is that our expectations have not changed as a program. We are still a language school. A lot of people were, especially new people that have just come into our program, were asking about kind of what the pacing looks like. So here you can kind of see if you are coming from our immersion program, so that means that your child was in kindergarten through 5th grade with us in the immersion program, they would be, could be in either standard pace or accelerated pace. If they have completed successfully our immersion program, then we would say accelerated pace. So they're going to be doing 2 years of high school language in 1 year. So that would be 2 credits for that 1 year. On the next slide, we'll be able to see kind of what those language levels look like. So us as a school, we always guarantee that our language teachers are going to be speaking with the students in the target language. Even if you are coming as a new student into 6th grade, your teacher will be communicating with you in the target language. Now, as you know, we have such wonderful teachers. Teachers are going step by step. In these first few weeks, we're remembering how to use the language. So make sure that your students, you know, are prepared for that, that we're just, this getting started is going to be going over and getting back into the groove of the language. Also, what we'll be going over will be how to submit assignments. So how to go into the portal, how to access the classes, how to access activities, how to meet with your teacher in a small group, those types of things. On the next page, you'll kind of be able to see our expectations. So when students are coming in sixth grade as new students, really the goal for the end of the year is to be able to be at a novice mid-level. So that is really listening and repeating, able to say a few short sentences, able to have a small conversation with someone on a familiar subject. That's what that looks like. For our students that have successfully completed our immersion program, they're coming out of their language 1 and 2 after 6th grade at around an intermediate, low, intermediate, high. So that's kind of where you can see that line there. Now, when we're looking at 8th grade, so if you have come from our immersion program and your child is now in 8th grade, our end goal is going to be at an advanced low. So this is the group that's going to be in language 4 and kind of what our expectations are. We have a lot of exciting things in store for you guys. Our language teachers have been working so hard and so diligently on their lessons, on different applications that they're going to be using. So get ready, and we'll see you soon. You can always contact me. I'll also have an office hour link for our orientation. So if you'd like to book an appointment, you can.
All right, thank you, Sandra. All right, our administrative team, take it away.
All right, welcome to Upper Campus. For the good majority of you, this is a continuation of either 5th grade to 6th grade or 6th to 7th or 7th to 8th. But we do have about 39 new 6th graders. So new 6th grade parents, if you wanna click the button that raises your hand so that people at some point during this meeting can see who's new, so that they can reach out to you if you need some support. But we do have quite a few of them. School will feel like school. We are going to be asking kids to check in and check out throughout the day, and we'll get into the details of that as we go on through the presentation tonight. But the first thing is that many of you have been checking Infinite Campus for schedules, which did load yesterday. If you have never logged into Infinite Campus before, which for many of our rising 6th graders from Globe, you may not have done that before. You can get a parent account by reaching out to our registrar, Tamika Walker-Jones. I'm dropping her email into the chat box as we speak. Your students will learn how to log into Infinite Campus in their 6th grade classes. 7th and 8th grade parents, if your child is struggling to get into Infinite Campus, please have them or you shoot me or Ms. Hewitt an email and we will help them out. But if you're looking at your schedule in Infinite Campus, there's a few things to note. What is most important is to look at the subject and the teacher and the class period that it happens. There's a lot of different ways that our kids are coded, and that does not always mean that they're in separate classes from one another. There are a few instances where we have new teachers and the new teacher's name is not yet in Infinite Campus, and so it may read teacher vacancy, or it may still read the name of the teacher who was previously working for us at Globe. Also, their schedules in Infinite Campus right now include clock times. Those are clock times set by the county. They will not match our schedule at Upper Campus. Teachers will let students know what time each period is and when they need to be in class. Finally, as many of you know, moving up from a previous grade, we do have our villages at Upper Campus. Our villages were originally designed to be a way to build community in our Upper Campus, and they have morphed and grown over the years to serve many different purposes. We are looking at ways to support and run our village program in a distance learning environment, and we have a fantastic team of Upper Campus teachers that is working on that. We will not be starting villages with the beginning of the school year, and we will wait to hear from that team as to how we're going to approach villages for this year. If you are a new sixth grader, you will receive your free Village t-shirt when we come back to school in person. If you are a returning student to Globe and you do not have a Village shirt that fits you, they will be available in the school store later on in the year. Thank you, Christy. Did we lose Marcia?
Sorry, I forgot I was muted. It's unusual for me. Just to let you know, this is a week in the life of distance learning, and we're going to walk you through it a little bit. There's more detail to this in the parent handbook that we sent out. On Mondays and Thursdays, all middle school students will have synchronous classes. That means they're going to sign in and spend the day going through their schedule. They can begin to log into homeroom between 7:30 and 8, and then classes will start shortly after 8. They'll have a 30-minute lunch, and then 7th period ends at 3:10. Teachers will be sending out invitations to students to log into the Google Classroom so they'll know where they need to go. On Tuesdays and Fridays, we will have asynchronous days, and this will be days where teachers will have office hours. They'll be having book clubs, small groups. The teachers will schedule this, and every Friday they will post a schedule for the following week that is an overview of what will happen the next week. It won't include all assignments for the week because those tend to change from day to day, but they will be putting in the standards and what office hours and stuff will look like on Tuesdays and Fridays. But students will still be checking in throughout the day, and we'll have a full day of either independent work or small group work that day. Wednesdays will be strictly independent work for students. There will be no classes online. Teachers will be having meetings and planning, and students will be assigned independent work that they can work on their own during that time. So we are back in school, like Judy said. This is real school, and so we're trying to make it as normal as possible so that students get the learning that they need.
The details. The most important thing to know is where to find your classes. So students are going to need to connect to their teachers through Google Classroom. That is this icon here. If you are a new 6th grade student and you do not yet have a login and password, you will receive that tomorrow or Thursday when you come to pick up your device. So we will make sure that you get that so that you know where to go. Teachers will be pushing out their Google Classroom codes so that you can log in. You will have a Google Classroom code for every single period of the day. In addition, if your child receives support services, they may have additional classroom codes for a special education or an REP or an ESOL teacher. We have asked our teachers to provide a consistent mode of presentation. So you will find that in every Google Classroom, there will be a consistent space where you can find codes for logging in and information about the class. Also, please keep in mind that we are a responsive classroom school, and it's really important that we spend the first 6 weeks of school not just digging into academics, but also building our school communities and our classroom communities. So anticipate that in the first few weeks of school, you will see a combination of academics and community building activities in the classroom. All of our academic classes will be held on Google Meet. That's this icon right here in the middle. Teachers will either send out a link or a code for students to get into Google Meet, and we'll be making sure that students know how to use those codes in order to get into the Google Meets. As Marcia indicated, the schedule for the following week will be posted on Friday afternoons. In middle school, we spend a lot of time using our email to communicate with teachers. So please make sure that your student is logging into their email and checking their email on a regular basis. Thank you.
All right, Judy, will you talk about the electives?
Will, I'm gonna clear all the stuff first.
Okay.
There you go. Right. So our middle school students are all signed up for 2 electives. New 6th grade parents and, well, all 6th grade parents, your students were assigned the electives that they requested. Everybody got what they wanted. So you don't need to worry about what the students are signed up for. Upper grade parents, if you wanted to change, you already have been emailing me and we have made those changes as they've come through. Electives are going to follow the regular school schedule. So on Mondays and Thursdays when we're live, there will be a live health or PE class, primarily PE. Students should please make sure that they're wearing sneakers and appropriate clothing and have positioned themselves in a space to move because they are going to have live PE on those days. The teachers will primarily use the asynchronous days for health class. Those class days may also be used for some of the guidance lessons that we utilize with our students. If your child is in a music ensemble, chorus does not have any additional supplies or instructions. Band and orchestra, if you are in band, all students in band, 6th, 7th, and 8th grade will need to stop by the auditorium when they pick up materials either tomorrow or Thursday. 6th graders will be starting the year with recorders in order to practice reading sheet music and learning about some of the technique for music and reading music. And then they will be moving into instruments in a short while. 7th and 8th graders, if you are renting an instrument from the school, please make sure that you're checking your email from Ms. Gerhart or Ms. Mashburn. You will need to sign our instrument agreements and pay the rental fees in order to take an instrument home. But even if you have your own instrument, you will need to stop in the auditorium to pick up music and materials for those classes. If you are taking art, please make sure that you check the 6th, 7th, and 8th grade updated supply lists for a supply list from Miss Allen. She tried to be cognizant of the fact that we don't all have art studios in our houses, but also that we wanted to make sure kids could really do art at home and not just be limited to crayons and colored pencils. You want to swap then, Marcia, or you want me to keep going?
No, I'm good.
Okay.
Attendance is going to be taken every day in every period during live classes. It may be when they check in with the teacher on asynchronous days or they respond in Google Classroom, whatever the teacher has set up for those students to be able to check in with them each day. So we will be taking attendance. On Wednesdays, when they are working independently, everybody will be marked present. It's important to encourage students to check for assignment due dates and to read the syllabi carefully. There will be things that are expected to be due on certain dates, unlike in the spring. So the Friday agenda will include the objectives for the following week. That first reporting period ends in mid-October. And as I said, students will have independent work on Wednesdays. They'll also have independent work when we have conference days or other scheduled virtual learning days. It's important to remind students to be on time for class, make sure you're dressed and ready to work. Students are not having to wear uniforms while they're at home, but we do expect people to kind of get in the mindset of I'm going to school. So being dressed at least from the waist up so that they're ready to be seen on camera. It's really important in middle school that we help students to become independent learners. And so we encourage students to email their teachers directly, and we encourage parents to help them to problem solve about finding out how they can deal with some of the challenge they may run into, and let them try to email the teacher first.
Student supports, as Marcia was just indicating, students really should be able to complete their work independently. That's the objective, certainly by the time they get to middle school. Their first line of defense, if they need assistance, should be their teachers or their teacher assistants. At the middle school level, we have one teacher assistant that shares and supports our 6th and 7th graders. That is Miss Katie Posiask. We have a teacher assistant in the 8th grade who is doubling here as a 6th grade parent, and Miss Allison Martin. We also have teacher assistants in our language classes, and we also have teacher assistants in our student support team. If your student is struggling, please start with contacting teachers and TAs, and please encourage your student to be the one to make the contact first. You'll notice over here on the right in our little grid that our friend is holding up here that our student support team addresses a lot of different student needs. So those could be students who are receiving remedial support in English and math. Those could be students who have an IEP and need support in our special education program. But those could also be students who are qualified as gifted and receiving supports in our gifted program, or have English as a second language and are receiving supports there. All of those teachers will be reaching out to students, and in many cases also to you as parents, to make sure that kids know where to go and when those supports are going to take place. We also encourage our kids to reach out to the counselor. Miss Ashley Church is our middle school counselor. She will be available on orientation day in her own office, or there will be a link to click if you want to schedule a private appointment with her. And she'll be holding office hours for kids throughout the school year. Ms. Sherry Robinson is our upper campus nurse and is available for helping with health or medical concerns. And then, of course, you are always welcome to reach out to myself or to Marcia Hewitt, as well as any of our coordinators if you need administrative assistance or you're not sure who to go to. We are always happy to help.
As we talked about communication, it's important to help your student to read the instructions carefully and check work before they submit it. As soon as you see a problem brewing, let us know before it becomes insurmountable. If a student's having technical issues or whatever, certainly they can email the teacher, email Ms. Lamore, and we'll get those taken care of. It's really important if you communicate with us to focus on the most pressing issue rather than telling us about everything at once. It helps us if we can respond to the most pressing issues. Teachers will respond to emails within 72 hours, and priority will be given to student queries about work and learning needs. Responding within 72 hours doesn't mean that the teacher is going to wait for 72 hours. It's just that they have that 3-day window because most of them are teaching at least 90 students, and it may take them a little time to get back to you.
You never run out of things that can go wrong, says Murphy. And Murphy's entirely right, especially in the distance learning environment. Please, for yourselves and for your students, help set them up for the understanding that things are going to go wrong. And they will probably go wrong every single day. And sometimes we can control them, but sometimes we can't. Somebody's internet or their power will go out. Somebody's screen will freeze. Someone will try to talk on mute, as many of us have already done this evening, or will start to talk when they should be on mute. Someone will put something personal or inappropriate in the chat box, or there will be an audio lag, or some combination of all of these things. The teachers are going to work with the kids at the very beginning of the year to anticipate these problems and talk about classroom protocol so that kids will know what to do. But if something happens in your student's class, don't panic. We know that power is going to go out, that internet's going to go out, that you're going to lose connection. Just email your teacher and let them know. And then make sure your student checks Google Classroom to find out what they missed.
Like Judy said, things are going to happen. We're asking all upper campus students to check out and utilize the school devices for distance learning. This is important for our tech people to be able to solve problems at a distance, be able to log into a student's computer and help out with issues. Make sure that you purchase Chromebook insurance, and that is the website to go to. You don't have to have a number for the computer or whatever. That's all been taken care of. If you do have technical issues, email Judy Lamore at the Globe Academy to set up an appointment for repair. Sometimes those repairs can be done remotely. Sometimes you will need to bring the computer in. If it requires an insurance claim, we'll let you know. If something's happened to the computer and you need a new one, we'll trade it out. It's not a problem. The other thing that is going to be happening is that we will be doing map testing remotely, and that allows us to be able to lock the computer from other websites and things while students are testing.
There's a question in the chat box about our filter. When your students are logged in through their Globe account, they are limited to the school filter, so they will not be able to be a part of, get onto YouTube or other prohibited sites. Our upper campus teachers will not send your student to YouTube directly. They will download the videos that they need for learning and push them out through Google Classroom. But again, we're asking that all of our upper campus students use a school device because that will help to manage technical issues. Set your child up for success. Check the Globe newsletter for updated school supply lists. The last 2 weeks, Katris, our communications director, has included updated school supply lists with asterisks or highlights or some other indication of supplies that are specific to distance learning. We recognize that not everybody needs every school supply to sit at home in a home office. But in some cases, we are encouraging or suggesting some slightly different supplies so that they can be more successful at home. Work to create a workspace for each student. Make sure that supplies are nearby so that if a teacher has requested that a student, for example, has a small dry erase board, that the student doesn't need to get up and go find the dry erase board for class. Put all the supplies with them before they get started. Make sure that their school Chromebook is charged. You will receive a very, very dead school Chromebook when you pick them up on Wednesday and Thursday of this week, but they will need to be charged. Have the charger nearby. Please leave food and drink in the kitchen. Students will have a lunch break, but the last thing that you want is water all over your keyboard or Cheeto dust in between your keys and having to call to make an insurance claim because the Chromebook no longer works. Please check the Wi-Fi signal, not only where your student is working, but also have a test run with all the people in your house that are going to be working on the Wi-Fi at the same time. If you have grown-ups that are working from home or multiple children that are schooling from home, we want to make sure that the Wi-Fi can hold up to everybody. One thing that you can do if you find that the Wi-Fi is weak is students can turn off their cameras. That substantially lessens the amount of Wi-Fi bandwidth that they are using. Please make a plan for your student's cell phone. If we were in the building, the rule would be that the cell phone should be off and out of sight from door to door. I can only speak for my own house, but I know that's going to be the plan at my house for my 7th grader. If the cell phone is sitting nearby, it is incredibly tempting for your children to pick it up, text their friends, have a conversation, look something up when they're supposed to be doing their work. It becomes very distracting. So please make a plan for student cell phones during the school day. Also have a conversation with your student about appropriate dress. We are on the screen from about mid-body up. And as we move into our upper middle school years, some of our friends are choosing to wear clothing that is a little bit more childish than the level of maturity that their body has developed to. So please make sure that they are clothed and covered and that we cannot see undergarments. There should not be logos or words on t-shirts that are inciting or inappropriate. And we want to make sure that we can see their eyes and see their faces. So the same as it would be in school, they shouldn't be wearing sunglasses or hats unless the teacher has given us specific instruction for that.
Like we've been saying, this is real school, and a parent's attitude about how things are going will matter to students. We don't know how long we'll be learning together in this digital environment, but nobody wants to miss out on instruction, and we don't intend to have students miss out on instruction. We encourage you to treat each day as if it were a normal school day. Wake up in the morning, get dressed, eat breakfast, go to class, start work. And at 3:10, the day is over, take a break, go outside, play, get some exercise, and be ready, get a good night's sleep and be ready for the next day. We are excited about the school year. Our teachers are spending a lot of time getting ready for the new school year, and they're excited. We would love to be able to be in person and give students hugs and see their smiling faces in person, but safety is our #1 priority, and we want to make sure that it is safe for us to go back into the building. So we are looking forward to seeing everybody next week. And I think Christy wanted to say something about.
Yes. Thank you, Judy and Marcia. I do want to give a plug to the PTCC, which is our Parent Teacher Community Council. They have set up a speaker series this year within our virtual life. But the first one is August 13th, which is Thursday. Our wonderful parent, Flory Glessman, she has volunteered her time and expertise to give tips for a successful virtual learning experience. I think that it will be great. She's also a wonderful speaker, so it will be great if you could join that. I know the register link is pretty small right there. It's kind of hard to see, but it will also be in our weekly reminders tomorrow, so check that. If you would like to join us, we'd love to have you for that. And we are actually getting you out a little early. I'm excited about that. Good for all of us. But if there's any burning questions that you have that did not get answered before you say goodbye, if you will please just drop those in the chat box, and we will either reach out to you individually or we'll make it part of our Q&A document so you can have those answers. Again, thank you so much. Nobody wanted to start the year this way, but here we are and we're doing it and we're excited. Everyone has been working really hard the past 3 weeks and we are ready for you. We are excited. So I can't wait to see you on Monday. Thank you for taking time out of your evening to spend with us, and I hope you have a wonderful night. Thank you all very much.
Good night.
Good night. Thank you.
Good night. Good night. Good night.
Good night, guys.
Good night. Thank you.
Good night.
Good night, everybody.
Night.
Night, everyone. Thank you.
Good night.
Good night, everybody. Good night.
Hey, this is Millie Lopez. I have a 6th grader. She's coming in from the, she's been there the whole time with Upper Campus and Lower Campus. I didn't receive a handbook. So what do I have to do?
It was sent on Friday from Communications, from Globe Communications.
It was sent on Friday. Is it in the email with the newsletter stuff? Or is it separate by itself?
Christy, do you know?
I am so sorry. I was
The handbook, parent handbook, was it sent in the newsletter last week, or was it sent on a separate email on Friday?
It was a separate email on Friday. So if you get the newsletter, you should have received the digital handbook.
I didn't get the handbook, but I'll look again.
Okay, yeah, and check your spam just to be sure, in case it had something weird in the, you never know what causes things to go into spam.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Did we stop recording? Let's see. There we go.